Usopp the Great or Usopp the Useless. You either hate him or love him. But you can, without a doubt, say that he is by far the weakest member of Straw Hats. To the point where me and my friends have an inside joke on how many Usopps it would take to do, like, anything. Like winning a fight to winning the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, it'll take 30 Usopps for that. And I was just sitting there and I was like, man, how many Usopps would it take to take down every Yonko crew? Side note, you can watch this video on stream or react to it, just credit me. Let's get into the video. First, we need to measure how strong Usopp is. We're gonna measure his feats like his hockey, his durability, his weapons, and what's the most impressive thing he has done throughout the story so far. Side note, I just finished Egghead. I'm reading the manga now, so like, don't get all mad at me in the comments. It's like, well, actually in Elbaf 1176, Usopp actually took down every single person in the world with his hockey. I don't know what you're talking about. Usopp, no diffs. So let's start with his arsenal, attack power, and strength. He has a slingshot. According to some people on Reddit, it has like a 50-pound draw rate at like its base state, which is, if he was a real person, really impressive. I'm going to compare it to a bow since, as far as I'm aware, no one is out here making 50-pound draw slingshots and recording the data for it. So, it's just going to make my life easier to do that. Let's get this out the way. His 50-pound draw rate. Well, you can argue that the 50-pound draw is made easier because he has dials, and I would say how? It's a fucking stick. Maybe it's in the pouch or something, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that he could do consistently without breaking a sweat. Let's measure how much it would hurt to get shot by base time skip Usopp's slingshot. According to some rednecks on the internet, a 50-pound draw rate bow is enough to kill an elk. But that's with like a pointed edge. Let's throw him a bone and say you could knock out an adult elk with a well-placed shot. Elks are 800 pounds and 5 feet tall at the shoulders and around 5'7", not including the antlers, which is about an average human. Also, according to some people on the internet, one elk has the strength of 8 people. Let's just say for like the Doriki standard, that one average human equals one basic marine. Using the Doraki measuring system that we learned in Eni's lobby, his basic slingshot has the power to knock out 8 people, which is 80 Doraki, which if you don't remember, means how many average marines equals the strength of one person. One marine is equal to 10 Doraki. I know I'm mispronouncing it, but don't get mad. Rob Lucci had a 4,000 score at Eni's lobby. So if his base attack does 80, let's see like how his strongest attack is out here facing. His strongest attack being Fireworks Star, which stunned and knocked back Page 1, a Stegosaurus, who at his final form is around 8 tons and 52 feet long. I mean, granted, he wasn't at his final form. Let's eyeball it and say he's like half that. He's 4 tons and 26 feet tall or some shit. Let's also eyeball it again and say he flew back 100 feet. According to people smarter than me, it'll take 1.3 million newtons of force, which converts to around 275 pounds of force, which if we were to compare that would take 1,200 average humans at full force to be able to do. So that attack has a score 12,000, which is equal to 3 Luccis on paper, which is crazy because Eni's lobby Luffy barely beat one Rob Lucci and got a 300 million berry bounty for it. I know this video's all over the place. This is my second video I've ever made. The reason I'm going to use the Eni's lobby measuring system is because it's kind of linear. Because if we go by bounty, then apparently 601 episode 1 Alvitas could take down post Wano Luffy. You would say, no, of course not. Luffy could just conquer his hockey her and knock them out, no sweat. And you would be right. So the reason I'm going to use that system instead of a berry system is just for like consistency. And since like one attack doesn't automatically equal how strong someone is, let me just throw out a number. Let me just pull like a number out of my ass and say Usopps has a score of 30,000 on his worst day. I'm talking like his shoddy just wrote him a letter saying that she don't want shit to do with him. She's gonna come, she's gonna take the kids and the going merry, half his gadgets, and he wants to do nothing but crawl into bed, eat 2 devil fruits, and just eat Sanji's food. You may be like, where'd you get that number from? It's cause Luffy's haki can knock out around 50,000 fishmen, and since one fishman equals the strength of 10 humans, that means he knocked out 500,000 humans with his haki alone, meaning Luffy is bare minimum 5 million. Let's just say that 200 Usopps equal one base Luffy, which is what Luffy was when he knocked out 50,000 fishmen. Also, I have to mention, I know I'll get comments if I don't mention this, if Usopp gives his slingshot water, he could shoot over 3 miles away, which is arguably his most impressive feat. Like, you could make the argument that, well, actually, he used shot enhancers to make his shot go farther, but the fact that his accuracy was spot on, now you can argue he can only do that because of like the shot boosters, but in Eni's lobby, he saved Robin from over 1 kilometer away. Now, I'm American, so that doesn't mean shit to me, but it translates to a little under a mile. Now that we got like some of his stats out the way, let's move on to his durability or endurance, however you want to look at it. The strongest attack he's been able to just take and walk away from. In Water 7, he fought Luffy, who, as we saw, was on par with Rob Lucci, so he had like the strength of 400 men, and he just took that shit to the chin. Then in Dressrosa, he takes direct hits from Treble, who is one of Dofi's top men. Matter of fact, he's like 2nd or 3rd in command. His strength is nothing to laugh at, cause he is seen lifting boats out of the water with little to no effort. Keep in mind, these type of boats usually weigh around 350 tons. That would take 4,500 people to just lift it a little. And Usopp took an attack from him, then ate some of the world's spiciest food, beat Sugar by accident, and just sat there, took a nap, got up, and then proceeded to psychologically terrorize Sugar till she was in a coma.
Psychologically terrorized the op until he killed himself at the Michael Jordan Steakhouse.
But by far his biggest tank was against Ulti, one of Kaido's strongest fighters. When Luffy met her, he said that she was too strong, and to get rid of her quickly, he had to go into Gear 4, which is showcased to be at least Yonko's first mate level, when he was fighting Katakuri in Whole Cake Island, meaning she is at least Robin level. I think her bounty of 400 million is a little short. I say that she's probably around the 800 million berry range, and Usopp tanking not just 1, but 2 hits from her in her hybrid form is insane. Cause keep in mind, she's a mythical Zoan, and when her and Luffy had like a headbutt off or whatever you want to call it, they were evenly matched to the point where the floor broke beneath Luffy before he could knock her back. So she's out here packing a punch. She's moving like Prime Vaughn, cause she was ready to slide on everyone. She was out here tanking hits from Big Mom, and then getting up and proceeding to go slide on Nami and Usopp. Oh, right, back to Usopp. He took 2 hits from her, so let's just say he has like high durability, being able to go toe to toe with people in the 700 million berry range and durability. Who is the strongest person he has beaten? You could say Sugar. I know I talked about this a little earlier, but I just want to rant about this. How are you on the future Pirate King ship, yet the only reason you won is just by pure luck? That's like having LeBron, Kobe, and MJ on your team, and you're going up against like some no-name college school, and then you get dunked on by a 4'8" little person. But right before they dunk on you and put the ball in, a strong gust of wind just blows them away, and they land wrong and break their legs. I'm being so generous with Usopp, like with his rankings and his Iraqi level, because I'm trying to be nicer to Usopp. What the fuck do you mean? The last person you 1v1'd, no fluke, no luck, just fighting, was fucking Chew. That was in Arlong Park. That shit was 26 years ago. You're telling Usopp slept on my ass, but he beat Sugar. He didn't use hockey, and he didn't touch her. By that same logic, if Usopp would like go against Garp, but Garp just had a heart attack and died halfway through a fight, you'd be like, oh, Usopp beat Garp. No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, oh, he just got lucky. Usopp fans are just coping hard right now. Alright, rant over. Now to like pad out the hockey segment, I want to go over the theory that Usopp has future hockey so powerful he could see not minutes, not days, but years into the future. Case in point, all his lies that came true. When he tells Kaido how he fought a giant goldfish, skipped a little garden, what do you see? A giant goldfish. He talks about Cerberus. Who do we meet on Thriller Bark? Cerberus. When he talks about a dragon, skipped a Punk Hazard, Lo and behold, a dragon. He calls himself Captain Usopp. In Water 7, he becomes captain of a Going Merry. I mean, technically by default, but he is the only person on the ship, so he is the captain. Then when he talks to Luffy and says, oh yeah, I'm a master sniper after accidentally hitting a rock, now he's out here shooting sugar from over 3 miles away. That's some shit prime John Wick probably couldn't do, making him one of the greatest snipers in fiction, in my opinion. Not to actually talk about his hockey. He also uses hockey to see sugar through walls. He deadass drank some Vulture's Aid, but his coolest one was when he said he had hella followers. Again in Dressrosa, he gets hella motion until money is brought up and all his followers leave him. So does Usopp have the strongest feature vision in the series? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Now let's talk about Usopp's hockey resilience. Usopp is extremely resilient to Conqueror's hockey. He did not faint when Big Mom uses her Conqueror's hockey to knock out Page 1, because believe it or not, Usopp has a strong ass will. Like when he fought Luffy over the Going Merry, that is a good demonstration of how strong his will is. Another time he showed extreme resilience to hockey was the hockey not an egghead. It knocked out most of the Marines and the Gorosei, but the Giants and Straw Hats were unknocked. Since we currently don't have someone with hockey as strong as Joy Boy. Keep in mind, we probably do. I haven't caught up to Elbaf, so maybe. Either way, it doesn't affect Usopp that much. Now that we're done scaling Usopp, let's see how many Usopps it would take to beat the Whitebeard pirates. Let's just say he ate like the mimic fruit, which I just made up, but it's probably real fruit. Update. It is a real fruit used to mimic devil fruit powers. I'm just making my own one where he could just multiply himself. Alright, how many Usopps does it take to take down Whitebeard? In the Battle of Marineford, it took 76 cannonballs, 267 stab wounds, and 152 gunshots to take down out of prime Whitebeard. If we were to measure the force of a cannonball, it's around 120,000 newtons, which if you remember, Usopp's fireworks star has about 10 times that power. But those didn't kill him. Aokinu did when he melted half his face and his chest, but not before Whitebeard put the fear of God in him.
Did you pray today? Did you pray today? Because if you didn't, I'ma have to dig you down on some gangster shit.
Unless Usopp has like some thermite stars hidden up his ass, he is not scratching Whitebeard. Unless, since magma on average is around 2,400 degrees. And since fireworks at the absolute maximum, I'm talking good wind, a lot of gunpowder, burn at 2,000 degrees. So, if Usopp were to like somehow concentrate all his attacks on one spot of Whitebeard, I don't see why he couldn't do the same thing Aokinu did. But in my opinion, you have to like tire him down, like kind of like you have to tire down Big Mom. So I think it'll take 800 Usopps are just required to weaken him enough for another 200 Usopps to concentrate fire on him until he becomes like a pile of ash or something. Final count for Whitebeard, 1,000 Usopps. Marco the Phoenix. I mean, let's be for real. He has to tire out Marco. Then throw in like some sea stone handcuffs on him. Because as far as we know, Usopp has no means to beat Marco, who can endlessly regenerate. I like to say around 300 Usopps are required to take down Marco just to put the handcuffs on him. Because keep in mind, we've seen Marco go toe-to-toe with King and Queen simultaneously. Well, they aren't Yonko level, they definitely aren't any pushovers, as well as stalling admirals during Marineford, until they threw some sea stone handcuffs on him. Then Marco's just dodging crazy. So I think 300 Usopps could tire out Marco, and then they could like do some damage once he has Sea Stone on Ace. Since Ace is technically a Logia user, Usopp, who doesn't know Armament Hockey, will have to rely on the Sea Stone Cuff method again. Unless you want to use the Aokino method I did for Whitebeard, where he has to concentrate fire on him. He was already killed like that once, so let's just say he uses the handcuffs on him. Let's just make a headcanon real quick. When he was in Wano, he found like a bunch of nails that were sea stone, and he made a nail gun. Possible spoilers for Marineford, but Ace fucking dies. So I would say like 10 Usopps could kill him if he had sea stone handcuffs on. You're probably like, what do you mean? I mean, he was relatively weak compared to what he could have been. Because you know how Rob Lucci pre-awakening had a level 4,000, and then post-awakening he was able to clash with Year 5 Luffy. Imagine Ace if he mastered all 3 types of Haki and then awakened his Devil Fruit. Dude, he would have been crazy strong. He was out here taking hits from Jinbei. I mean, Jinbei's a fucking fraud. Because, like, the only feats he has is taking a hit from Alkaino. So I'd say 150 Usopp to get the cuffs on, another 10 to finish the job. Juzo, the Diamond Man. His feats, fully blocking an attack from Hawkeye of just his body. I'm not going to talk about Hawkeye yet, since he is kind of hard to rank. Because, like, in my mind, however strong Zoro is, just add, like, 20, and that's him. Hawkeye has been known to clash with Shanks, meaning he's at least Yonko level, and Jozo just tanks that. Let's be honest, Usopp couldn't touch him in his diamond form, unless we have seen him take damage, like in his diamond form, when he was frozen by Aokiji, where his arm broke off. That makes you wonder, can you melt diamonds? Yes, you can melt diamonds at 1,500 degrees, which is fortunately where Usopp's fireworks can sit comfortably. So I would say it takes 200 Usopp to surround him and just bonfire him. Thatch. No disrespect to Thatch, but Whitebeard slimed him, shot a rope, and took a shit on his dead body.
I'll rub my own nut all over the Glock to let them know I really been here.
He is a commander. That's pretty much all I could say. I'm just gonna say all the commanders are at least, bare minimum, half as strong as base Luffy. So the lowest I'll give a commander is 100 Usopps. Vista. His feats, being able to block a hit from Mihawk, and is a veteran since the Gold D. Roger days. In a field where people usually die young, he is strong, but we just haven't seen him in action that much. 200 Usopps. Blatch. His feats, he beat some no-name fodders with 1 hit. 100 Usopps. Reikyu. His feats, he fought Kizaru, whose attacks have been known to melt metal and blow up trees, which, according to some people with a deleted Reddit account, is, at bare minimum, a megaton of TNT or something. Point is, it's big and powerful. And the fact that he fought Kizaru and came back mostly unharmed just proves he either has some crazy durability or is just that guy. It's like currently unknown if he ate a devil fruit or is flailed, but I'd say around 250 Usopps. Namaru. He bit through an axe and is a fisherman. 100 Usopps. Plan him. He has a big sword. That's it. 100 Usopps. Muriel, the 10th Division Commander. He fought off Gecko Moria, who Luffy did beat, but that was Nightmare Luffy, so I'm gonna say around 100 Usopps. Kingdom. He fought off submarines. 100 Usopps. Hatura. He easily cut through metal and fought admirals. 150 Usopps. Adam the Water Buffalo, who is also controlled by Doffy and forced to attack his own men. Dare I say 100 Usopps is a stretch, but like, I don't know, that's just me. Let's be generous and just say 100 Usopps. Speed, Jizu. He's freakishly fast, that's all we know. 100 Usopps. Foza. He has a flaming katana that he used to cut through marine swords and has good endurance. 150 Usopps. Finally, we move on to someone with feats. Izu, one of Odin's retainers and his 16th Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, who is, if we're being honest, just fell into that role. Like, he just ended up there. His feats include hurting beast form Kaido, whose skin has only been wounded by Odin, Zoro, and if I'm not mistaken, Luffy. No, I think Luffy just beat him. I will say he didn't, like, scar Kaido, and he didn't do it in a 1v1, but he wasn't out there just trolling his thumbs around. Like, he actually did something. Plus, not insta-dying to an emperor is, like, achievement enough. But in the manga, his attacks are seen being effective against Kaido, which is impressive. He did end up heavily injured from this fight, where he then went on to hold his own against CP0 agents, who are, in my opinion, just below Yonko level. Since Lucci is one of the strongest CP0 agents, and I'd say he's around Jinbei level, who is a fraud, meaning a fully healed Izu could for sure stall Sanji and Zoro. Like, he may not win the fight, but it's still something. Then he was Sniper King. But then he was Sniping King He then disarmed him, leaving him open to attacks. So he's now pushover. Bare minimum 300 Usopps. Alright, so if Usopp were to 1v however many Usopps each member, it would take around 3,410 Usopps to do that. Let's round up and say 350 for like even number's sake. Now, if it were a group of all of the Whitebeard commanders were in a group, I'd say bare minimum 5,000 Usopps would be able to take down the whole Whitebeard pirates. That's not including like their underlings and stuff, but that's just like my opinion. If you disagree, leave a fat comment on how I'm stupid and how Usopp is slept on and how Usopp's pinky toe can beat the whole verse in 10 seconds or something. Part 2 of this, where Usopp goes against the Straw Hats, should be out next Sunday. Peace, have a good day.